Okay, hello everyone. In this part of the video, I will go through the nested if-else conditions. We have seen a glimpse of this nested if-else conditions in Microsoft Excel also when we were discussing the if function, and we had more than two options in the output. So when we have multiple options, more than two, we use nesting. Nesting is basically putting the condition inside another condition. We can apply the nesting property not just to conditions but to repetitions, the loops as well. We will talk more about the repetitions later on, but for now, the nested if-else conditions in case of snap, it can be asked in two different ways. I can give you a flow chart like in this diagram that you see here, and then I can ask you to convert this flow chart into a snap project. Another way is I can directly give you a question related to nested if else without any flow chart. In that case, the procedure will be given after this example. So let's do this example first. So here in this example, we will start with a green flag and make a variable called pH. So we have the variable pH, and what I will do is I will ask from the sensing tab, I will ask the user to enter pH value. So whatever answer I receive, I will set the variable pH to the answer. I will set the variable pH to that answer. So once I receive the input, this program basically displays one of the 5 messages. We have the possible values depending on the pH. If it is greater than 7 but less than 12, the message should be alkaline. Greater than 12, the message should be very alkaline. If it is exactly 7, I should display the message neutral. Below 7 but greater than 2, I should display the message acidic. And below 1, I should display the message very acidic. So when we are working with nested if-else conditions, in case of snap, it's very simple. What you need to do is first make a separate block of if-else. So from the control tab, I will make a block for if-else here. And then in the operators, I will take out the greater block, place it inside the conditional placeholder, and then use the variable pH to control this condition. So this block I will duplicate and place in my main algorithm here. So what I will do is my first condition says if pH is greater than 7. So I will duplicate this block, right click, duplicate, and place it here, and then I will set pH is greater than 7. So if this condition is true, inside the true placeholder I have another condition. So this is the placeholder if the condition is true, this area. So I will duplicate this conditional block and place it inside the true part of the first condition. So here my second condition, I will now relabel it. Second condition is if pH is less than 12. So I will right click this greater conditional block and relabel it with less than option and set the value to if pH is less than 12. So if that statement is true, if that condition is true, I should display the message alkaline. So I will use the looks and take out the say block and place it inside the true part of pH less than 12 condition, and here I will display the message that is alkaline. Else the message should be very alkaline. So this is the message if the condition is false. So I can duplicate the say block here and place it in the else placeholder here and change the message to very alkaline. So my right branch of the flowchart is complete. The left branch, I will start that part now. So in the main condition, if pH is greater than 7, if the answer was false, that means in the in the else placeholder, if the answer was false, in that case I have my first condition here. If pH is 7, the answer should be neutral. So what I will do is right click, duplicate, place it inside the else block of the main if condition, and here I will relabel greater to equal to 7. And if that is true, I should display the message that is neutral. Else, in the else block, that is the false part of the equation, in that case I have a last condition, that is if pH is greater than 2, the answer should be acidic, otherwise the answer should be very acidic. So let me copy the message. So here this block, no need to duplicate it anymore because this is our last if else condition. I will put it inside the else block here, and here I will say the condition is if pH is greater than 2. In that case I should display the message that is acidic, otherwise I can duplicate the same block again and display the message here very acidic. And then at the end, after all the if else conditions are complete, I can use the stop this script block. Now this type of algorithms, this type of programs, you have to be very careful with the placement of the if else blocks. One small mistake, for example, if I place this if else outside in this area, the logic of my program will change. So you have to be careful when we are implementing such type of programs. And the best part of these programs, you can directly check the result. For example, if I click on the green flag, I can directly check that okay, at 8 value I should get alkaline. I'm getting alkaline. If I run it again at 14, I should get very alkaline. So if I press enter, I'm getting very alkaline. If I enter the value 7, I should get the answer neutral. I'm getting neutral. So that's how you can implement this program. You can save this file just like in the previous ones, give it the name whatever exercise and save it in a folder. Now another way the nested if else equations question can be asked is, instead of giving you a flow chart, I directly give you the question. So here the question says that I need to read the student ID and his GPA out of 4, and then I should display a message according to the following conditions. So if the GPA is greater or equal to 3.5, the message should be excellent. If it is less than 3.5 but greater or equal to 3, the message should be very good. If it is less than 3 and greater or equal to 2.5, the message should be good. Less than 2.5, greater or equal to 2, the message should be fair. And less than 2, the message should be poor. These are the main messages that I want. But besides these messages, I have one more condition, that is for the out of range. If GPA is greater than 4 or GPA is less than 0, in that case I should simply display the message out of range and then I should stop. So the pseudocode of this algorithm, it is given here. We have an input to ask, enter the use student ID. We receive the answer and place it inside the ID variable. We input the GPA. We get the answer. We place the answer in the GPA variable. And first thing we will do is we will check if the GPA is greater than 4 or less than 0. In that case, I will display the message out of range. And then if it is true, I will just get out of the if else conditions and stop. Else, if that's not the case, that means the GPA is within our range. In that case, we will do the comparisons, the nested if else conditions. So let me start this one. So here I will start with the green flag and I will make two variables. One is for the ID, another one is for the GPA. And using the sensing block, I will ask to enter your ID. Whatever answer I receive, I will take out the answer block and set ID to the answer. Then I can duplicate the ask block and change the message to enter GPA and set GPA to the answer. So first thing I will do is I will use the if else block here. I will keep it aside just to make copies, and I will take out the variables, that is the GPA, which I will also need many times, and I will take out the operators. So first operator that I need, first I want to check out the condition when the message should be out of range, that is GPA is less than 0 or GPA is greater than 4. So I will take out this OR block that you see here. So I will say if GPA is less than 0 and GPA is greater than 4. So I will make a duplicate of GPA. I will place it here. Another duplicate I will place it here. So if GPA is less than 0 or GPA is greater than 4. So this is my first condition. I can duplicate the if else block, place it here, and this is my main condition for out of range. I will go to the looks and say the message in this case should be out of range. Else, this is where our checking starts here. So here we have greater equal comparison. So greater equal, we can do it in two ways. One, we can say that GPA is greater than some number, let's say 3.5, and then we can use the OR block to implement GPA is equal to 3.5. This is one way to implement the greater equal operator, because in Snap there is no greater equal operator combined that we have. So we will have to do with OR operation. Then another way is to use the NOT operator. Remember, the NOT is the opposite. So greater equal is basically the opposite of less than. So if I do GPA less than 3.5, that is same like doing GPA greater equal to 3.5. So we will use the NOT of less than. So I will take out the NOT block here and I will take out the less than. I will put less than inside the NOT block and then use the GPA block to place it inside. So if NOT of GPA less than 3.5. So this is my first condition. I can duplicate this one and place it inside the else block, and I can say that okay, if GPA is greater or equal to 3.5, in that case my message should be excellent. So from the looks tab, I will say that in the true part of this condition, I will say the message should be excellent. Else means when this condition is false, I will move to the second condition. Now the second condition basically says if GPA is less than 3.5 and greater or equal to 3.0. But for this second condition, if I want to nest, if I want to put the second condition inside the else part, there is one advantage. The advantage is that when I am in the else area here, I already know that this condition is false. And GPA greater or equal to 3.5 will be false when GPA is basically less than 3.5. So this part of the comparison I don't need to perform if I'm placing the new condition inside the else part of the previous one. So I only need to check if GPA is greater or equal to 3 or not. So I can duplicate this block. Wait, let me put the say block also inside it so that we don't have to make multiple copies. So I can duplicate this block and place it inside the else area here. And here I will only need to check if it is greater or equal to 3, which is not of GPA less than 3. So if this is true, my message should be Very good. So this will be the message. I will place the message here. Else means this part now. Else means GPA is less than 3. So I don't need to check in the else. I only need to check this new condition. GPA is greater or equal to 2.5 or not. So in that case, I will duplicate this. I will place it inside the else here. And I will change the condition. GPA is greater or equal to 2.5. In that case, the answer should be good. The answer should be good. And if it is less than 2.5, that means in this else area, if it is less than 2.5, this is the part. I need to display that I need to check if the GPA is greater or equal to 2 or not. If that's the case, I will display the message fair. Otherwise, if it is less than 2, I will display the message poor. So I'm left with the last two options now. So that means I don't need to create any more duplicates. I will just place the last condition inside it. And I will say that, okay, if GPA is greater or equal to 2, I will display the message fair. And if it is less than 2, I will simply display the message poor. And after all these conditions, I will display I will stop the script. So that is your, let me zoom out a little bit. So that is your nested if else conditions. So this is your program. If I run this, I can check for enter your ID 2020 1 2 3 4 5. Enter GPA. If I enter 3.8, it says excellent. This is good. If I run it again, let me enter some ID and the GPA. This time it is 3.3. It displays very good, and so on. It will work for all the other numbers as well. So that is one way. Now another method is you can use the simple if construct also to implement this program as well. The simple if block without the else. So when you are using simple if block, what will happen is that you will need to check this part of the equation as well. So in that case, what you will do is, let me show you here. I will take out this condition. So in this case, what we will do is we will first check using the if block. Using the if block, I will check. Okay, if GPA is less than 0 or GPA is greater than 4, I will simply say the message that it is out of range, and I will stop it also because I don't want to go any further. If it was if else condition, we will automatically jump the whole else. This was inside the whole else block. It will automatically jump from here. But when you are using simple if block, it will go through every block. So to avoid that, if we have the out of range input, we don't need to go any further, and then that's why we need to put the stop block inside it. Okay, next what we will do is we will check if the simple if block. I will check if the GPA is now greater or equal to 3.5. In that case, I will say the message that is excellent. If that is true, I can directly stop here also. Don't need to go any further. Then I can duplicate this block and then place it under, and now I can change the message. That is, if GPA is greater or equal to 3, but my second condition was and it should be less than 3.5 also. So here I will use the AND operator. I will say that if GPA is greater or equal to 3 and GPA is less than 3.5. If that is the condition, in that case, what I will do is I will display the message that is very good. So let me remove the say block from here. In that case, I will display the message that is very good. If this is not the case, I can duplicate this again, and now I can say that, okay, if GPA is less than 3 and GPA is greater or equal to 2.5, in that case the message should be good. I can duplicate it again, place it under, and then I can check the next part, which is if the GPA is less than 2.5 and the GPA is greater or equal to 2, in that case the message should be fair. And then the last condition that we have, I can duplicate and place it under this one. The last condition is if the GPA is less than 2. No need to check this part. No need for the and, just the last part here. If GPA is less than 2, in that case my answer should be poor. So that is another way to implement the same program. You can save this. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it the GPA program and save it in your computer in snap2 minus your ID folder. So the last one that we have is, so this is once again using the simple if. You can put stop here and you can skip the stop in the normal if blocks, but the problem will be that you will need to check all the remaining conditions. If you don't want to check the remaining conditions, you need to put the stop inside these say blocks as well. Now we have the last question here, that is to write a snap project that will ask the user to enter the height, width, depth and weight of a shipment. So I have 4 inputs. The program will calculate freight density. So I need a variable to calculate this density, and then displays the freight density and the freight class. So I need to calculate the freight class also. So I need 2 output variables because the output is not a message here, it's a number. So I will calculate the freight class and the freight density. So freight density I will calculate according to this formula. The freight class will be calculated according to these if-else conditions. And also the program should respond to any incorrect input with message error. What can be the incorrect conditions? That is when these values are 0 or negative. The weight, width, depth, height, it cannot be negative. So I need to check that first before we do any of these calculations. So first let us input. So we will have 4 inputs, that is height, width, depth and weight. Let me do this program here. So from the control I will take out the green flag and can make 4 variables. I will call them, just to make it simple, W4, or let's write the full name. So weight, we have width, we have depth and we have height. These are the inputs. Then we have freight density, let's call it FD, and freight class, let's call it FC. So we have 6 variables in total, and the first thing I will do is to input these input variables. So I will ask to enter weight. Whatever answer I receive using the variables, I will set, for example, this weight to the answer and then duplicate. The next I will receive is, let's call it the width. Let's call it, or let's follow the output that is shown. So first I need to receive height, width, depth, then weight. So let me place this block above it. So first I need to receive the height. So I can say that, okay, height question mark, and I can set the height to the answer. Then let's ask for the width. So I can say, okay, enter width. I can set width to the answer. I can duplicate it again. Then I can ask for depth. I can say depth. What's the value? I can set depth to the answer, and then the last one will be here, the weight. So not right, weight. I can set weight to the answer. So getting these inputs, after that I will calculate. I will set FD, which is according to this equation, weight divided by height into width into depth divided by 1728. So before I calculate this, I need to make sure there is no negative value entered. So what I will do is, I will first use an if-else block. I will use an if-else block and I will check using the operators. I want to check if the value of weight or depth or height or any of these input variable, is it less than 0 or equal to 0 or not. So for that case, I will use the not operation. I will say that not of greater than, that means not of greater than, I can say that, okay, not of depth greater than 0. That basically means if depth is less than or equal to 0, or I can use the OR block. If this condition is true, or I can replace depth with height, or if height is less than or equal to 0, or if weight is less than equal to 0. So I need to check all the possibilities. So I will duplicate this one also, and I will replace height with weight. So not of weight greater than 0. So I have the third one, and I need another condition here. So depth, height, weight, I am left with the width. So I will put the width here also. So here we have these 4 conditions that you need to check. For that I will need 2 OR blocks. So I can put these 2 in this left and right OR block, and this whole thing will go to the right side of this OR block. So overall this is 1 OR, and then let's use another OR block. This will be the left side of OR, this will be the right side of OR, and this whole thing will be on the left side of the main OR block. So I'm checking all the possible inputs if they are negative or equal to 0. In that case, I should simply display the message. From the say block, I will display the message that is error, and then I will get out of the condition, the if else condition. I will get out of that using the control block, and then I will stop this program. Else means the inputs are correct. In that case, I will calculate the Frey density. So here inside the else block, I will first calculate Frey density. Set FD to this equation. So in this equation, I need to multiply these 3 inputs, then divide, and then divide the whole thing, the weight, by this whole value. So I need 2 multipliers first of all. So I will take out 2 multipliers, join them together. So here I have to multiply height, width, and depth. So height is already here, width I can duplicate from here, and depth I can duplicate from here. So height into width into depth. Then divide this whole thing by 1728. So I will take out division, put this whole equation in the numerator, divided by 1728. So dividing by 1728, and then this whole equation is in the denominator of weight division. So I will take another division. I will put this whole equation in the denominator, and the numerator will be the weight. So this is how I will calculate the value of FD. So I got the value of FD, and now I will start my if else blocks. So first if else condition says if FD is less than 1. So using the control section, I will take out the single if else block. I will take out the operator that is less than. So I will place it inside here, and using the variables I will take out the FD block as well. So I'll say if FD is less than 1, in that case, if FD is less than 1, I need to set the fray class to 400. So I will use the set block and place it inside the if, and I will say that set FC to 400. So why am I doing this outside? Because we can duplicate this whole block every time we need it. So here I will right click and duplicate this block and place it inside the else. Inside the else. Once again, this else is for the case when the inputs are correct. They are not negative. So here, if FD is less than 1, then I will set FC to 400. Else means it is greater equal to 1. So that means the greater equal to 1 part I don't need to check. I just need to check if FD is less than 2. In that case, fray class is 300. So my second block inside this else area here, I will only need to check if it is less than 2. The FC value should be 300. So I only need to check this thing. Then for the third one, I will only check if it is less than 4. The fray class is 250. So I will duplicate this, and I will place it inside the else, and I will say that okay, if FD value is less than 4, the fray class is 250. And then you can do the other one also. If it is less than 6, the class is 175. So place it inside the else. If FD is less than 6, the class is 175. If it is less than 8, the class is 125. So duplicate this again, place it inside the else block. If it is less than 8, the value is 125. 125, I will change it. And then I'm left with two options, 100 and 60. So there is no need for extra if else block. This is the last one. So if it is less than 10, the value is 100. Else I need to set FC to 60. So else I will set it to 60. And when I have completed this if else calculation, notice that inside the else, inside the main else where I'm calculating FD and FC, so here below, above this last orange, in this placement I will display the messages. So using the looks, I will place the say block not outside the top else, but outside this else here, outside this condition checking here. I will display the message. Fray density is, so I will use the operator join. I will use the operator join to place it here and say fray density is the value of FD. Using the variables, I will put the value FD here, and then duplicate this again, place it under it, and then I will say fray class value is the value of FC. So I will place the variable FC in the second box, and that is your program. So let us check with the inputs. So height 25, 11, 5. Let's check with that. 25, 11, and weight was 5. So I should get 7.85 and 125. So 7.85 and FC is 125. So that is correct. So that's how you can do nesting, how you can take care of error checking in if else conditions, using if else conditions. Thank you everyone.